Good evening. I'm your host, Karen Hudes. Welcome to this DCTV series on the Network of Global Corporate Control. Today's broadcast is about Switzerland and the global currency reset. All of the 188 representatives of the countries that belong to the World Bank and International Monetary Fund know about my long-standing efforts to replace Federal Reserve notes with constitutional currency in the United States. They've been watching how I write to them from outside the headquarters building, and on a few occasions when I managed to get past the network of Global Corporate Control's security guards, I have had cordial conversations with them. In October 2014, I met with the Swiss delegation and Switzerland's representative on the board of the International Monetary Fund. My correspondence to Switzerland following that meeting is at the end of the teleprompter. Sarah Aviel, the alternate executive director on the board of the World Bank representing the United States, was fired in 2015 for locking me out of the World Bank headquarters building. All of the embassies in Washington got a letter similar to the one that I sent to Switzerland's ambassador last year on March 25th, asking the delegations to name the negotiating teams for the agreements to exchange the paper currencies for gold out of the global debt facility. I'm also putting copies of this correspondence at the end of this teleprompter. On July 24, 2015, I followed up with a letter to the 25 ministers on a committee that represents the Board of Governors in between the spring and annual meetings. Switzerland is on the Development Committee. I documented how the representatives of the United States were violating the articles of the World Bank and International Monetary Fund. In November, I reacted to an article in the Economic Times of India about Switzerland's decision to publish accounts that are older than 60 years, which is the case for the accounts of the Global Debt Facility. And I informed Switzerland about their obligations under the bilateral Mansfield Breakthrough Successor Agreement. I told Switzerland that the accounts of the Global Debt Facility remain valid. I have sent similar letters to the West African countries who also threatened to invalidate the Global Debt Facility's accounts. On December 18, 2015, the Board of Executive Directors of the World Bank fired Jim Kim as president of the World Bank, and they also fired Sean McGrath as the Vice President for Human Resources. You can see how the Development Committee fired Jim Kim at the end of this teleprompter. That is why, in a letter in February, which threatened to arrest me, Jim Kim's name was not associated with the presidency of the World Bank. What you are seeing Jim Kim doing is merely a pantomime to trick and fool people about what is really going on. On January 13th, I met with the head of the Political and Legal Affairs section of Switzerland, Mr. Daniel Hun, at a conference at Georgetown Law School. This conference discussed the United States' decision to fine Switzerland's banks over $1 billion for helping United States citizens evade taxes. It was not such a smart move on the part of the United States. Switzerland is being punished by the network of global corporate control. This is at the same time as Switzerland is coming under fire from its citizens. On November 30th, voters in Switzerland held a referendum on gold. The referendum was to prohibit the Swiss National Bank from further gold sales, to repatriate Swiss-owned gold to Switzerland, and to increase gold reserves from 7% to 20% of the Swiss Central Bank. Many Swiss felt that the votes were not counted properly. That is why the Swiss have now come up with another referendum, and this referendum is even stronger. It would prevent the private banks from creating money and requiring that the Swiss hold the actual money in their deposits before they lend it out. In fractional reserve fiat currencies, the banks simply create money out of thin air. The Swiss have not set a date yet for this second referendum, but enough Swiss have signed the petition to require this referendum. On the 8th of February 2016, the Board of Governors fired Matthew Maguire and Mark Sobel, the United States Executive Directors on the World Bank and International Monetary Fund Boards of Executive Directors. That is how I know that Christine Lagarde was not reappointed for another term. As a matter of fact, Lagarde is no longer the managing director of the IMF. That is because she tried to steal the world's gold in the global debt facility by signing an unauthorized agreement with the Vatican. The General Counsel of the IMF, Sean Hagan, also lost his job for this very same reason. Switzerland is the home of the Union Bank of Switzerland. UBS is holding the Treasury dollars that Ronald Reagan printed, and these are the Treasury dollars that are replacing the unconstitutional Federal Reserve notes. Switzerland is in contempt of all of the rest of the nations of the world by refusing to release these dollars. Whenever anyone asks me why we are not implementing the global currency reset, I tell them to ask Switzerland and the Union Bank of Switzerland. And now we're going to talk about another very important fact about Switzerland. Switzerland is the home of the CIA. It's not Langley, Virginia, it's Switzerland. And these findings were from David Chase Taylor, who published them in March 2005. The bottom line is that the United States is being directed from the Vatican, and that the CIA is part and parcel of the Vatican. They're working for the Vatican. They are not working for the United States. The CIA's headquarters are in Switzerland. Switzerland is located in Central Europe, and if you could put the map up showing Switzerland right in the very heart of Europe. The CIA operates under the alias Holy See. That is, the Holy See. It was founded 40 years after Confederationis Helvetica. That's Switzerland, roughly 755 years ago. By employing deductive reasoning, it can be deduced that Switzerland is in fact home to the CIA. The first step in this process is to follow the money, which leads directly to the Bank for International Settlements. That's located in Basel, Switzerland. This is an organization which secretly funds the CIA's nefarious activities. Switzerland is unique from every other country on Earth, and that's something expected from the nation which harbors the CIA. Because Switzerland is ultimately responsible for engineering the incessant assassinations, terror attacks, and wars around the globe, it's naturally free of such mayhem in Switzerland. In other words, Switzerland is the eye of the global storm. It's free of financial crises, free of state-sponsored terrorism, and free of war for over 500 years. After all, terrorists in the CIA need a sanctuary, a place of peace and safety where they can return to after executing black operations around the world. Said terrorists also need a place where they can avoid prosecution, hence Switzerland's permanently neutral position within the international community. This is why the bankers, pirates, and terrorists, formerly known as the Knights Templar and the Order of St. John, originally fled to the Alps, founding what is known today as Switzerland. Because the CIA is in command and control of each country's respective intelligence agencies and military, they're responsible for orchestrating virtually all of the assassinations, terror attacks, and wars. This is where the concept of the Swiss Army knife originally came from, for Switzerland has every political and military option at their respective disposal. Although Switzerland is noted for its Swiss mercenaries, who were strategically placed by the CIA in foreign armies, courts, and governments in order to conduct assassinations and espionage, 99% of Swiss citizens have absolutely no idea that their country is in fact home to the CIA. And let me give you 10 facts about Switzerland being the CIA. Number 1, Switzerland is located in Central Europe. Number 2, Switzerland is the only neutral nation on Earth. 3, Switzerland is the only sovereign nation on Earth. 4, Switzerland is home to Ank's interception system. 5, Switzerland is home to Holy See, i.e. the Holy CIA. 6, Switzerland is home to Bank for International Settlements. 7, names for Switzerland, that's CH and Suisse, equate to CIA and SS. 8, Swiss National Day is the same date as that of the Temple of Spies. 9, Switzerland is intimately tied to dictators, Hitler, Mussolini, Jong-un, etc. 10, Switzerland was originally founded by the Knights Templar and Order of St. John. Let's look at the first point, and we'll have the slide of Switzerland. CIA is located in Central Europe. It's imperative to note that the notorious CIA of the United States provides the necessary political cover for black operations, that's special ops, orchestrated by the CIA in Switzerland. In other words, America takes the blame for what Switzerland is ultimately responsible for. Although there's a Central Intelligence Agency headquarters located in Langley, Virginia, it's just the local headquarters of the CIA within the United States. In order to sell the world on the notion that the CIA is American in nature, the words CIA headquarters are always followed by Langley, Virginia, in virtually all Hollywood movies. However, Langley, Virginia is not located in central Virginia, nor is the state of Virginia centrally located within the United States. Switzerland, on the other hand, is located in Central Europe, hence the name Central Intelligence Agency. The term central is defined, in part, as being in the middle of something, or located in the center of a thing or place. Definitions which are indicative of Switzerland, not Langley, Virginia. The term central is also defined in part as controlling all other parts and having power over the other parts, for the CIA in Switzerland is ultimately in command and control of all 205 countries and territories of the underworld. Although said countries and territories have different flags, languages, and races, they all operate at the behest of the CIA in Switzerland. Number 2, Switzerland is the only neutral nation on Earth. Switzerland is the only permanently neutral country on Earth. Neutrality is defined in part as a sovereign state which officially declares itself to be neutral towards the belligerents. However, if an allegedly sovereign state funds said belligerents, it is not neutral. Although Switzerland has been neutral since the end of its expansion in 1515, the Congress of Vienna fully re-established Swiss independence in 1815, making Swiss neutrality permanently recognized. Consequently, Switzerland has remained free of terror attacks and war for over 500 years. By remaining neutral, Switzerland can be intimately involved in the day-to-day business of every country on Earth, while publicly appearing to be neutral. Switzerland is also the only neutral country which actively engages in armed neutrality. Consequently, the Swiss Armed Forces has roughly 200,000 to 400,000 active-duty soldiers, one of the largest standing armies in the world. The armed neutrality of Switzerland only makes sense when it's understood that Switzerland is home to the CIA. In the event that Switzerland's political cover is blown and they're fingered as the progenitor of assassinations, terror attacks, and wars, its massive military will be able to defend itself against attack or potential invasion. Number 3, Switzerland is the only sovereign nation on Earth. Switzerland is one of only 2 sovereign entities on Earth. This notion is confirmed by the flag of Switzerland, one of only two square sovereign state flags. The other is the flag of the Vatican City, a city-state within Rome, which is coincidentally protected by the Swiss Guard. While the flags of all other countries are rectangular in shape, the flags of Switzerland and the Vatican City are geometrically square, for they represent the only two sovereign states on earth. The term sovereignty is defined as a state or a governing body that has the full right and power to govern itself without any interference from outside sources or bodies. In political theory, sovereignty is a substantive term designating supreme authority over some polity. In other words, Switzerland is the only country in the world, aside from Vatican City, which is in control of its own destiny. Consequently, the other 204 countries and territories of the underworld are not sovereign, meaning that another country, that is, Switzerland, is ultimately responsible for its fate. Number 4. Switzerland is home to Ank's interception system. If Switzerland were in fact a neutral country, it would not be home to the Ank's interception system, which is operated by the Federal Intelligence Service, FIS, the official name for the CIA in Switzerland. Considering that Ank's is admittedly, quote, controlled by an independent, unnamed control authority composed of members of the federal administration, close quote, it can be deduced that it's under the command and control of the CIA. The stated goal of Ank's is to monitor both civil and military communications, such as telephone, fax, or internet traffic carried by satellite, effectively allowing Switzerland to spy on the rest of the world. That being said, it's highly likely that Ank's is also used as a secure and encrypted means of communication between headquarters of the CIA in Switzerland and its respective offices and detention facilities, that is, black sites around the world. Despite the fact that Ank's is a global system, the only admitted locations within Switzerland are found at Heimschwand and Zimmerwald. Although the CIA still employs thousands of secret agents around the world, a majority of their espionage is conducted electronically via state-of-the-art technologies, cell phones, drones, GPS, internet, satellites, watches, etc., which are likely all linked to and monitored by Ank's. Number 5. Switzerland is home to Holy See. The Holy See, i.e. the Holy CIA, is the official name of the Central Intelligence Agency. That's a term evidently derived from Confederationis Helvetica, an original name for Switzerland. Although the Holy See is allegedly located in Italy, its name suggests otherwise. Consonantly speaking, the term holy, H plus L, was evidently derived from the Hel, H plus L, as in Helvetica, while the term C, i.e. the letter C, is an apparent acronym for Confederationis. Founded roughly 40 years after the establishment of Switzerland in 1300 AD, the Holy See is touted as the ecclesiastical jurisdiction of the Roman Catholic Church. The Holy See is the central point of reference for the Catholic Church and admittedly the focal point of communion due to its prominence. Consequently, the Holy See is viewed as the central government of the Roman Catholic Church. Diplomatically speaking, the Holy See acts and speaks for the whole Catholic Church. In other words, the Holy See is the highest form of government within the Catholic Church, just as the CIA is the highest form of government in the world. Similar to Switzerland, the Holy See is viewed as a sovereign state having a centralized government entitled the Roman Curia. Coincidentally, the Federal Palace of Switzerland in the Swiss capital of Bern is entitled Curia Confederationis Helvetica, further suggesting that Switzerland and the Holy See are in fact one and the same entity. The term see found within Holy See was derived from the Latin word sedis, meaning seat, a reference to the episcopal throne, cathedra of the Catholic Church. In other words, the Holy See is the holy seat or the holy throne of the Greco-Roman Empire in the underworld. 6. Switzerland home to Bank for International Settlements. The Bank for International Settlements, BIS, in Basel, Switzerland, is the financial backbone of the CIA, secretly funding its nefarious operations around the world. Admittedly, the BIS funds 60 central banks, that is, the Bank of China, Bank of England, Federal Reserve Bank, etc., which collectively make up 95% of the world's gross domestic product. Although the BIS bills itself as an international organization of central banks which attempts to foster international cooperation in those areas and to act as a bank for central banks, it's solely responsible for orchestrating the world's financial crises, simply due to the fact that it alone has the power to create money. In other words, the BIS is responsible for creating and distributing the world's fiat money supply, which is in turn used to fund the world's respective governments, intelligence agencies, and militaries, as well as all the assassinations, terror attacks, wars they engage in at the behest of the CIA. As the financial wing of the Central Intelligence Agency, the BIS is fiscally responsible for funding virtually all the chaos and madness that we see in the world today. 7. Names for Switzerland equate to CIA and SS. Because Switzerland is home to the Central Intelligence Agency, their respective names are intimately linked in numerology. According to the International Organization for Standardization, which is coincidentally located in Switzerland, the country code of Switzerland is CH, i.e. CHI, an acronym derived from Confederationis Helvetica, an original name for Switzerland. When employing Jewish gematria in respect to the Roman score, i.e. the Roman alphabet and/or the modern English alphabet, the acronym CH numerically and consonantly equates to the acronym CIA. For example, the numbers and letters found within CH, that is C equals 3 and H equals 11, equate to 311, as the H symbol equates to the number 11 in the Roman score. Conversely, the numbers and letters found within CIA, that is C equals 3, I equals 1, and A equals 1, numerically equate to 311, as the 1 symbol equates to the number 1 in the Roman score. Hence, the letter A doubles as a chevron symbol, i.e. A, the number letter used to depict the letters C and K in the Roman score. The acronym CIA equates to CIA, an acronym which can be depicted in a variety of different ways, that is CIC, CIK, KIC, KIK, etc. The double A, C, and K are grammatically and numerologically tributes to Chania Crete, the birthplace of the Greco-Roman Empire, which now rules the world via the CIA in Switzerland. This is why the coat of arms of the Holy See, the official name of the CIA in Roman Catholic Church, depicts two keys or two Ks, i.e. KK, for the term key, consonantly equates to the letters C and K, symbolically depicting the name of the CIA, that is KIK. Considering that the CIA is predominantly staffed by males of Jewish descent, the derogatory term for Jews is kike, C over K plus C over K, a term which consonantly equates to CIA when the letter A is deciphered as a chevron symbol. Unbeknownst to most, Switzerland is also home to the World Jewish Congress, an international federation of Jewish communities and organizations which is curiously never mentioned as an active political body. Whether the World Jewish Congress is part of the CIA is not known, but it's highly likely considering the secretive nature of the group. One of the original names for Switzerland is Suisse, its current name in French. Consonantly speaking, the term Suisse, S plus S, equates to SS or CC, pronounced CC, as the letter C routinely doubles as the letter S in the English language. For example, cent, century, citrus, etc. Consequently, a double S equates to a double C, which is, as previously stated, representative of the CIA. Historically speaking, the SS is found in the names of symbols of various groups which were and are being used by the CIA to kill and terrorize billions of people around the world. For example, the letters SS were used by the Schutzstaffel, i.e. SS, the largest and most powerful paramilitary organizations in Hitler's Third Reich, as well as the Waffen-SS, the multinational military force of Nazi Germany. Said organizations also donned the swastika, a symbol which in the letter S is superimposed upon another letter S, resulting in an SS. In modern times, the swastika is used by around the world. Lastly, similar to the term Suisse, the name of the state-sponsored terror group, ISIS, S plus S, contains a double S, a grammatical tribute to the CIA in Switzerland, which is using the group to terrorize the world. Number 8. Swiss National Day is the anniversary of the Temple of Spies. The Swiss National Day is the birthday national day of Switzerland, a holiday which is celebrated annually on August 1, marking the foundation of the Swiss Confederacy. Coincidentally, August 1 is also the anniversary of the Temple of Spies, i.e. spies, spes, pronounced spes as in spies, was the goddess of hope in Roman mythology, in the religion because the Greco-Roman Empire hoped they would find out about potential threats and invasions prior to them manifesting in reality. Because Switzerland and its CIA spy on the underworld on behalf of the Greco-Roman Empire in Greenland, their respective birthday and national holiday is celebrated on the same day as the anniversary of the Temple of Spies. That's why the logo of the Federal Intelligence Service, which operates under the aliases of the Nachrichtendienst des Bundes, the Service de Renseignement de la Confédération, SRC, and the Servicio de Intelligenza Federale, SIF, depicts an outline of Switzerland superimposed upon an I for the FIS. That's the official name for the CIA in Switzerland. Lastly, in what appears to be a modern tribute to espionage conducted by the state of Switzerland, the logo of SpyOptic sunglasses depicts a Greek cross which is coincidentally found in the flag of Switzerland. Number 9. Switzerland is intimately tied to dictators. Thank you for joining me for another episode of the Network of Global Corporate Control. We spoke about my relationship with the Board of Governors on the World Bank and the International Monetary Fund, and we spoke about a very special country, Switzerland, which is not what it's holding itself out to be. It is actually the home of the CIA, which forms a spy network to dominate all the countries of the world. I look forward to another episode next week on the Network of Global Corporate Control.